Hi friends, this is Miss LaRose. I hope you enjoyed the story The Perfect Square by Michael Hall. I'm going to be showing you some techniques from the book, and I'm going to let you choose which design you would like to do for your square. Okay, I'm going to give you a couple tips. I'm going to talk about the materials that we're going to need, and then I'm going to show you some techniques. So first of all, if you have available some watercolors, that would be great. You do not have to have watercolors. If you don't have them, we can improvise and use other materials. With your watercolor set, you're going to need a cup of water, and you're going to need a nice full brush. You're also going to need some scissors. I'm using adult scissors. Remember, kids, to use your safety scissors. This is a hole puncher. And these scissors are special scissors. You don't have to have these, but you might want to ask your mom or your dad or your grandparents, whoever is helping you, if they have any of these special scissors. When you cut with them, they make a special edge. I also have some colored chalk, and I have some crayons without wrappers. You can use either of those. All right, so I'm going to move my materials out of the way. First thing I want to show you is how to make a square out of a rectangle. Okay, so on your supply list this year, I told you to get a pack of 9x12 construction paper. They do have these available at the Dollar Tree or Walmart or Amazon. And I'm going to show you how to make a square out of a rectangle. So I'm going to take my bottom corner, and by the way, I have my rectangle in front of me so that it's long ways. I'm going to pick up my bottom right corner. I'm going to go up to the top until this top edge lines up evenly. Okay, once you see that it's even, you're gonna just gently crease it. Don't put a real sharp crease in it, just gently, okay? And then what I'm gonna do is take my scissors, I'm gonna cut that edge off. That's gonna give you a perfect square, okay? Because that's what you're gonna need to do any of the designs from the story. So the story we read was The Perfect Square. There were lots of different designs that the illustrator did in the book. You can see they came up with different ideas for their squares, and they did a variety of techniques to show different colors and textures and patterns. So that's what I'm going to show you before we actually start cutting and tearing our paper. All right, so the first thing I want to show you is if you're going to use paint, this is a cool technique, and if you don't have paint, you can do the same thing with crayon, and I'll show you that. So I just took a small square, putting water on my brush. I'm putting water on my paper first, okay? This is called a wash, a watercolor wash. And what I'm doing is I'm now putting some paint on my brush, and I'm sweeping the color across the page. Notice how I'm going all the way across the page. I'm cleaning my brush, wiping the inside edge of the cup, and I'm going below that. Water first, then color. In the story, A Perfect Square, one of the things they did with the square was turn it into a window. So this is my background for my window, and you don't have to do this one. You can pick what you want to turn your square into. Okay, this is just one idea. So water first, then color. If you don't have watercolors, I'll show you how you can do the same effect. And that just creates a very washy, soft effect, okay? So I'm going to put that one to the side. And I'm going to show you how you can do the same technique with crayon or chalk or oil pastels. Okay, so here we have some crayons. So I'm going to take, this is my construction paper cut into a square. I know it's hard to see, but this is kind of like a lime green color. So I'm turning my crayon on the side, and I'm going across. And what I'm doing is I'm making different changes in the color. Okay, so you can do the same thing with crayon, chalk, or oil pastel that I did with the paint. It just gives you a different effect. Another thing you can do is crumple the paper. So when I take my paper, I'm going to take just a piece of this paper and I'm going to crumple it up. Okay, this is going to give you a different texture. Remember, texture is the way something feels, right? So now it kind of gives you some neat texture and designs. I could even go over that with some crayon rubbing, and that gives it even more variation and change. Just gives it a little bit more variety, okay? So these are some ideas on how you can add color and texture to your paper. So these are the different ones that I've used. I use different colors of construction paper from my Crayola construction paper pad. You can see some of these I painted, some of them I used to chalk on. This one I kind of did a swirl design. This one was like the window one I showed you, okay? All right, so I'm going to now do my sailboat. In the story, A Perfect Square, they created a beautiful fountain like this one. Okay, and they used a hole puncher. I'm not going to use it on this one, but if your parents have a hole puncher handy for some of your designs, oh, my holes aren't coming out completely. That's okay. You can also create some pattern by using your hole puncher. Okay, I'm not going to do that for this one, but I did want to show you that. All right, so for my square, so I've already prepared this one. I've already got my colors on it. I'm ready to create something with my square. So I want to have two triangles that are the same size. So I'm going to take my square, put it just like this. I'm going to take my bottom left corner and I'm going to fold it up to the top right. Match my corners. Just need a slight fold, open it up. I'm going to cut it. Go on the line, careful cutting. Remember, we have to be safe with scissors, friends. That gives me two triangles. I'm going to cut the bottom of one of my triangles. Okay, that's going to be a boat, by the way. That's what I decided to make. You should have your drawing pad paper, so you're also going to need that. So I'm just placing the bottom of my boat on the bottom. All right, and instead of using this whole big triangle, I'm going to cut a strip out of it. Okay, and I'm going to go fairly tall with this one, so I'm going to cut it a little bit shorter. All right, now I need the sails to my boat. So I'm going to cut this in half. And that's going to be the top of my sailboat. And if you want that to be a little shorter, you can cut that shorter. And again, boys and girls, you can make any design you want to from your square piece of paper. There were lots of ideas in the book. Please feel free to use your creativity. I had a little bit of a scrap over here, so I'm going to raise my sail up a little bit. Get my camera up a little bit so you can see this. There we go. And then I'm going to put a flag up there. All right, friends, so then I would just take my glue stick and I would glue that all into place. Now, there's no reason why you can't draw a background for the picture, add some patterns to the sailboat, draw some details on your sailboat, like a place for the anchor, Maybe the anchor's hanging off the edge. So feel free to use your creativity. This story was very imaginative and it had lots of possibilities and lots of solutions. This one was created by tearing the paper into strips. So when you tear it, you start at the top, hold it down, and when you're tearing, tear slowly from top to bottom. You can control the tearing by how fast or how slow you tear the paper. This one was done by tearing, and you've noticed I'm doing it really slow so I can get certain kinds of shapes. So that would be the little flower shapes. This one was crumpled paper. You just take it and crumple it up in a ball and open it up. This was my window design. So I would take my one that I painted like this, and I would draw a big window pane. And there's no reason why after you draw a window pane, if you draw a scene outside the window. Okay, so I could then take colored pencils or crayons and I could draw a scene, maybe a park scene or outside, look out your window in your bedroom or where you do your studying and your virtual learning, and look outside the window and draw what you see. Pretend it's outside of a window when you're on vacation. Maybe there's palm trees and a little island back there. So use your imagination and your creativity. This one was using the special scissors. So I take my scissors and you got to be careful with these scissors. These are a little tricky. You got to be careful opening and closing these scissors, because sometimes they get tangled in the paper and it kind of wants to, tear. So be careful, but that's how you get the neat edges. There's no reason why you can't cut a certain edge with your scissors. So I can cut a zigzag by cutting triangles out of my paper. So there's lots of different ideas. This one was the cool bridge. So they took that big square piece of paper and they cut it into lots of triangles. I hope you enjoyed the lesson today, boys and girls, and I hope you enjoyed the story, A Perfect Square. I look forward to seeing your pictures of your artwork. Remember, on Seesaw, you can actually take a picture or video and you can upload it and show me. And I like to see your smiling face in there with your artwork. But if you're too shy and you don't want to do that, then just take a picture of your artwork. I have really enjoyed seeing the artwork from all my boys and girls that have been sharing. It really lifts me up because I miss you guys. I miss being in the art room. So take care, keep up the hard work, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.